I'm alive because
I'm alive because
I'm alive.
I have my 5 awesome kids.
I'm alive.
I'm still alive today because I heard your podcast.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of the I'm Alive Because podcast. I'm your host, Sara, and today we meet my new friend, Sergey. He has been involved with Stay Alive even longer than I have. So it's super cool to be able to talk to somebody who has like this love and this history with this organization. And he was really excited to come on the podcast. And of course, I was more excited to host him. Sergey is a father, a husband, a dog owner, which you all know I love that. And he is going to share with us information, tips, strategies, tools about how to go from a suffering state to a state of health and wellness and leading with love. So I can't wait for you to listen. Get comfy, grab your coffee, put your dog on your lap, whatever you need, and let's do this. Sergey, welcome to the I'm Alive Because podcast.
Hi, Sara. Thank you much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Well, I'm really excited to get to talk to you today and have everyone listen to a little bit about your story.
Of course. My pleasure.
Okay, let's start with those opening questions. Will you tell the podcast who you are, what you do, and why you care about mental health?
No, it's a really interesting question. First of all, I'm a dad, right? So I have a beautiful daughter. She's 8 years old. Her name is Sasha, and she's a love of my life. She's a sunshine. I love her so much. Also, I'm a husband, right? So my wife, she's beautiful. She's funny. She's smart, and she has a big heart. She really takes care of people and cares about people so much. Also, I'm a son. So my mom and dad, I appreciate them so much. They give me life, they raised me, and I cannot repay them enough, and I love them so much too. Also, I have a sister, so I'm a brother and I'm an uncle. My sister Olga, she lives in Czech Republic. She lives in Czech Republic overseas. She married a guy from Czech Republic, and she has a beautiful daughter, Sofia. So, and they're beautiful, beautiful creatures. Also, I'm a friend. I'm so lucky to meet so many people in different parts of the world. I was born in Russia, and I grew up in Russia, and I used to live in Europe, and I've been living in America for 18 years now. And I met so many interesting people all over the world. So I have friends in Russia, in Belarus, in Germany, in India, all over United States, in Canada, in Brazil. So I'm a lucky guy. I really appreciate it too. And regarding business and my mission, I am a personal strategist specializing in emotional fitness and relationships. So basically what I do, I help people, I empower people, help them to turn negative states like depression, anxiety, worry into positive states like love, caring, fulfillment, joy, appreciation, courage, and do it not only once in a while, but do it on a regular basis. And last and not least, I'm a proud dog owner. I'm going to give you a big answer. I'm a proud dog owner. I have a dog. His name is Benji. I call him, he's my brother from another mother. I never had a dog, and he's my first dog ever, but I'm so happy to have him. And when I come back home, he jumps on me, he licks me, he kisses me, he wiggles his tail, and he's so happy to see me. And
Oh, that
that's a
sounds
long
wonderful.
answer, but I have so many parts of me, and I wanted to share with you and with your listeners.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, we're never just one identity, right? We're all of those intersecting identities. So I love to hear all of that.
Yep.
And of course, what kind of dog do you have?
Golden Doodle. He's white Golden Doodle, and mix of a poodle and golden retriever. And he is really a nice family dog. So he's so happy and so loyal too. Do you have any dogs?
Oh, yes. I live in a household of 3 dogs. That's a whole
Three
other
dogs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What kind of dogs?
Oh, yeah, that's another podcast episode entirely. We have 2 German Shepherds in the house, one who's 9 and one who's like 8 months old. And then we've got just like a little tiny lap dog as well. So at any given point, there might be a dog barking in the background. I don't know. We'll see.
It's all right. It's all right. Maybe my dog will say hi too, you know.
So,
Yep.
Sergey, tell us about how you got connected with Stay Alive because I'm always really interested to hear how people find different organizations and get involved.
Uh-huh. Sarah, the story is my daughter and I, we went skiing in Wisconsin, right? And I saw the guy, and he was wearing a hoodie, right, with a Stay Alive. And I just got curious, and I approached the guy and asked him, what's up with the hoodie? And he kind of he gave me all layout about the Stay Alive organizations that you do a great job helping so many people and bringing awareness about mental health. And it's right in my alley too. So I got connected with you guys, and the rest is history. So we're doing podcasts, sharing more techniques, sharing more insights, with your listeners. So I hope we're gonna help at least one person today. So that's what we can do, because one person is the whole world.
That is absolutely true. If there was one thing that you want everyone to walk away from this episode knowing or believing, what would that be?
One thing would be that, like one person, that I reached one person, right? So one person kind of got curious, right, about the mental health techniques, emotional health techniques, and started using them in their everyday life. So in becoming a better human being and helping other people in the process too.
I love it. Well, I am sure that you will reach at least one person, if not many more. But I want to start kind of at the beginning of your story. So tell me a little bit about what was going on for your family about 6 years ago. I know that you kind of experienced some adversity. And I'd really love to hear about what was going on 6 years ago and kind of how you worked through that.
Yeah, 6 years, about even 7 years ago. So I was doing car shipping, right? Import, export cars to Russia from America. And my business was going down. Russia raised taxes, plus my partner, he decided to steal some money too. So it was another bummer. Plus my mom-in-law, she lost her husband, right? And she moved in with us. My mom-in-law, she's from Russia, so she moved in from Russia to America, and she's started living in our house. Plus, my daughter was a toddler, right? So she was little, and all happened in 1 year. So it was like a big change, and I remember myself being depressed and angry. Either depressed or angry, most majority of the time. Flashing on my wife and my mom-in-law, even on my kids sometimes. Oh my God, it was not good. And basically blaming other people that for my shortcomings, pointing fingers, and feeling really lousy, really off. My energy was off, and the focus was not there. I was like in a fog. So it was a really hard time. But thank God, right now I'm happy as heck, and I quit overeating. So I got myself in shape. I lost 25 pounds, and my wife and we getting better and better. So I really appreciate it too. And I would like to share, the simple techniques that helped me on my journey too with your listeners. So that's my mission.
Definitely. It sounds like everything that could have possibly hit you at once hit you at once.
Yeah, when it rains and pours, right? That's how it goes.
I can only imagine how overwhelmed you felt just trying to figure out kind of where do I start? Do I start with my work? Do I start with my kiddo? Do I start with my wife? Do I start with my mother-in-law? Yep. There's energy that needs to be put towards all of these areas, but I'm just one person.
Yep. What helped me, the first thing is that I stopped pointing fingers, right? Blaming other people. Like my mom-in-law, she doesn't understand me. My wife, she doesn't treat me right. And I need to do all this stuff with my kid, blah, blah, blah. So I told myself, Serge, you're responsible how you feel, and you're responsible for your action. So you need to figure it out at first, right? It's all on you, 100%, not like 50, 60, 70. It's 100% on you. You're responsible how you feel and how you act. And then I started doing research and learning from American and Russian psychologists and therapists and coaches, and came up with several techniques, really easy, simple techniques. And I started testing it myself, step by step, little by little, testing in how to get in shape, how to get relationship back in order, how to take care of my kid better, and step by step, life got better and better.
Yeah. So one of the things that I teach to people and that I've had to teach myself is that I cannot work towards wellness or work towards recovery until I really know what I look like when I'm not doing well. Because if you know what you look like when you're not doing well, then you can recognize it and implement some strategies, right?
It's huge, Sarah. It's huge.
So do you know, like, what did you look like? And not physically, right? Although that's probably a piece of it. Physically, emotionally, like financially, spiritually, all of those things. Did you know then I'm not doing well? Like, could you see that in yourself?
I think at first I just didn't feel well, right? And then I was trying to figure it out, what are the symptoms, right, and the signs, and of not feeling well. And right now I can tell that, first of all, it's your body, right? So usually depressed people, like when we're depressed, the head is down, right? Shoulders are kind of slumpy, and we don't breathe fully, and we don't walk too fast, right? If you people look at us from outside, how we focus too. So I've noticed that when I'm depressed, I focus on what's negative, what's wrong, right? What's wrong with myself? What's wrong with mom-in-law? What's wrong with my wife? What's wrong with people around me? What's wrong with the world? Always putting negative, first, and blaming other people too. And I think they're like two major characteristics: your body and your focus, and how you use them. And the good thing is we can switch. By switching the body and the focus, we can get from negative place into positive place, step by step. It's not going to happen overnight, but step by step, we can do it. So by being proactive and knowing how to do it, and do it on a regular basis.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you found this, but it takes time to really cultivate those steps. And every person's steps are going to be, vastly different from one another.
Yep, I agree. We're all different, right? We have different, different bodies, different biochemistry, different situations too. But I think we have the biological laws are similar still. How to get in shape, how to get your body in shape and your mind in shape too. For example, simple thing, right? If we focus on negative, right? What's negative in me, what's negative in other people, what's negative in the world, right? And thinking about it in detail, we're going to feel worse. Doesn't matter. For example, I feel really good right now, but when I start piling up the negative stuff, I'm going to feel worse. It's like universal law. So it's a mother nature. And there are several other techniques and several other laws that we need to follow. If we don't follow them, it's the punishment is coming. I don't know if it's the right word, punishment, but we're gonna feel worse. So that's the thing.
Yeah. So
in my opinion, I'm sorry, Sarah.
No.
We're talking about the dark side, but we need to talk about it, right? We need to talk about it to make sure people are aware of that. And I bet lots of people, they go through similar experiences, maybe different but similar feelings. So, yeah.
Totally. And that's kind of my whole point in talking to people like yourself on these podcasts, is that not everyone may have a formal diagnosis of depression, anxiety, or OCD or whatever the deal is, but everybody can identify with sadness and worry and apprehension.
Yep. Yep. And you feel it, and and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all, right? Being sad, being worried, being frustrated, and being depressed. Like I said, I feel the energy is low, right? The energy is really low and negative, and the focus is not there. It's like you in the fog. And when you're in the fog, it's hard to do a good job taking care of other people, taking care of people you love, taking care of your clients. And we don't do a good job too. Whatever we do, with our daily job, if we are depressed, it's pretty hard to do a good job because you don't feel good. You don't have energy. You don't have focus. You think about other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a very complex issue, and it's kind of snowball, like getting worse and worse and worse if you don't address it. If you don't address it in positive way, constructive way. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what that was like for you with parenting, because 6 or 7 years ago, your kiddo would have been 1.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
But,
not a parent, so I have no idea what it's like to parent, but I can imagine that parenting a 1-year-old, even if you're perfectly healthy, is hard, let alone if health is kind of the last thing from what you're feeling. So tell me about the experience of parenting at the same time as that struggle.
Sarah, was not easy, so I'm not gonna lie to you. So I had to push myself, right? To push myself, especially at the start, right? To take care of Sasha, my girl. And that was challenging. But what was the positive about it? What made me stronger, right? And what I learned when you start taking care of someone. So taking care of the kid is a must, right? You have to do it. You have to feed her. You have to change the diaper. You have to go outside for a walk. So you have to do all those things. And when you start doing them in the beginning, it's real hard because you're barely functioning yourself. But after you start doing it, it's getting better and better. You basically focus not on your struggles, not on your pain. You focus on the kid, right? How to do a better job, how to serve, how to help. And it takes when you care about someone, right, so much, when you love them so much, it takes away your pain too. So it was very interesting and very challenging, but very rewarding experiences too. And I've learned that I think for me and for my clients too, when we worry about ourselves too much, it's so easy to get depressed. But when you start taking care of someone else, of your kid or your wife or husband or your kid, your dog, right? So you start feeling better and better too. So it's one of the strategies. Take care of someone.
Gosh, that sounds really beautiful.
And thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
I
That's
have a
real
little-
life, right? It's real
Yeah.
life. It's real life. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So many people that I've worked with that have had like suicidal tendencies or thoughts or even planning. When you ask them that question that I'll ask you at the end of this podcast, but when you ask them, tell me why you stay alive, they often say, because I've got a dog to walk, or because I've got a mother who's aging, or, like it never comes down to the individual. And I don't know if that's good or bad. And I don't know that it matters what I think, but I think that it's interesting that we're just hardwired as humans to care for other people the way that we do.
Yes. And I think that most of us do more for people that we love than for ourselves. So it's like a big force inside of us. And that's awesome, though. God or nature that gave it to us. Oh, and thank God we have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is really a beautiful thing to feel such a pull or a desire to care for other people. And I want to figure out how to create that same desire or pull to care for ourselves, because I know that so many of us have been lacking that.
Yep.
So I have another question for you, and this isn't anything that we talked about like by email before this podcast, but can you
Uh-huh.
tell me a little bit about what mental health is like accessing services or talking about mental health struggles in your culture?
Like in the culture, Russian culture, you mean, or what culture? Or
Yeah, like you weren't born here, right? So how old were you when you
yes,
came to the States?
I was 21, almost
Okay.
22.
So you were developed. I mean, you were a man. So I'm just
Yep.
really, it's always really interesting to me to learn about like what the culture of mental health is like in other places.
Mental health is not very popular in Russia, as far as I know. It's getting better, right? But lots of people, they go through daily struggles, and they how they deal with mental problems. They drink, right? So lots of Russian people would drink. I don't drink, but I'm unusual Russian. I drink a
Mhm.
little beer, a little wine, sometimes, but I don't drink vodka. And but drinking, helps you in the beginning, right, to get away from your worries, but it doesn't help you long term. It makes things worse. And there is not too much mental awareness, in Russia. It's getting better right now with the internet and podcasts and YouTube channels too, but the problem still is pretty big. It's pretty
Yeah.
big in Russia too. Yeah.
I mean, we still, as a country here in the States, don't have enough mental health services, don't have enough
Mhm.
funding, so, and I am like 26 and just recently decided I was going to commit my life to talking about these things from my own experiences.
Mhm.
Um, and I know that we're pretty advanced, so I'm always
Mhm.
interested to hear about what it's like other places.
If Russian, I think it's a part of the culture, right? So Russians, especially men, we don't like to talk about feelings too much, right? Like I said, I'm unusual Russian. I don't know why, even my American friends, they ask me, are all Russians like that? They're like out loud and talkative, and happy most of the time, right? No, I said, not like that. For example, my dad, I love him so much, but he's much more introverted too. And I don't remember him talking about his feelings. But I know he had a drinking problem, and but he got over it. So he's in lots of Russian men. They face it too, but they don't talk too much about their feelings, and it's like cultural thing.
Yeah. Yeah, my father is in his mid 50s and he was raised in Canada, um
Hmm.
and in pretty low income, and
Hmm.
I mean he was not raised to talk about his feelings, and like I don't remember him talking about his feelings growing up, and he
Yeah.
just now, like in the last probably 10 years, has really started to like express love and joy, and it's been really interesting to like watch that shift from when I was like a child and he was pretty closed off to him portraying that more now. So I'm excited for your daughter to be raised with a dad who's really like open and willing to talk about feelings. So I'm excited for your family.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. No one is perfect, but so I love to see my daughter happy. I love when she smiles. So I love to give you hugs, to play games with her, and to take her do stuff. So recently we went to Sky Zone yesterday with your friends, and I was so happy to see you jumping all over the place and having a good time, socializing with your friends, being healthy and happy. I think that's the foundation of life, right? Being healthy and happy. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how much money you make, but if you're not healthy and happy and you don't have a good family and friends, what's the use, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's a big point. Healthy and happy.
I love that. I'll remember those
Yep.
words. Okay,
Yep.
so tell me a little bit about your work. I know,
Yep.
your work is probably similar to like mine in many ways, being a social worker,
Yep.
but I'm really interested
Yep.
to hear about what that looks like and some of these techniques that you use and teach people are.
Yep. Sarah, I do workshops, right? And I do one-on-ones with people. So what I help people to get from suffering state, right? Whatever they suffer from the loss or from their problem at work or for problem in the relationship, right? From going from negative state, suffering state, like being worried, being overly stressed, being depressed, being angry, right? And into beautiful state, like being loving, caring, and joyful, and happy, creative, courageous. And we use simple techniques. Usually there are 5, 7 techniques that we use. I do it one-on-ones and I do the workshops too. So, and I share it with the people what we do. For example, I can share one of the technique right now. It's called the king drill, right? So what do I do? For example, I wake up in the morning, right? I woke up today and the weather was kind of rainy and foggy and I didn't feel really well, really up. So I asked what I do in the morning. I asked myself, Serge, on a scale from 1 to 100, how do you feel? 1 being depressed out of your mind and like barely functioning, and 100 you energetic, enthusiastic, on the ball, focused. So I probably felt like 30, right, on a scale from 1 to 100. But I don't want to live my day like on a level of 30 because I know it's going to affect how I feel. It's going to affect my communication with with my loved ones, with clients, and it's going to affect my work. So what do? I do king drill. Call it king drill. There are 3 easy steps. I go outside, or we can do it inside too. Open the window, get some fresh air. 3 easy steps. First step, I put my head up, shoulders back, spine straight, and put a big smile on my face. Like I just won lottery, or just found the cure for cancer, and stand like a big, like magnificent king. So there is a study behind it. When you do great posture in a big smile, muscles of the great posture, they send stimuli to your brain, right? And the brain starts thinking that, oh my God, something is good going on. We got great posture, great smile. And the brain starts releasing hormones of happiness, dopamine and endorphins right in the bloodstream. And we start feeling better and better and better. That's the first step. Second step, keeping great posture, big smile, like a big king, magnificent king, or beautiful queen for ladies. I do a little breathing. Breathing, I call it power breathing. I breathe in a little bit and breathe out 3 times, like with the force. Breathe in a little bit and breathe out 3 times. Breathe in a little bit and breathe out 3 times. And I do it like 5, 7 times. The science behind the exercise is when you breathe out like that, you activate your nervous system and you kill stress hormones on the spot. So it helps a lot to, get your energy going. And step number 3, keeping your great posture, big smile, all stress hormones out of the way, I do a little gratitude. Basically, I change my focus, not thinking about what I don't have. I start thinking about what I have. Most of us have, but sometimes we take it for granted and we don't feel it too much. I focus on 3 areas, like myself, people that I love, and in the world around me. And I say what I have and say, thank you, God. Or if you don't believe in God, you can say, thank you, universe, or thank you, nature, or whatever you believe in. So it's going to sound a little crazy, a little funny, but it works like a charm, right? So I raise my hands into the air and I say, I have my legs, thank you, God. I have my arms, thank you, God. I have, I can see, thank you, God. I can hear, thank you, God. I can do stuff. I can make, I can create, thank you, God. I have my mama, my dad, my wife, my kid. Thank you, God. I have my clients all over the world. Thank you, God. I have, beautiful sun, fresh air, green grass or snow, whatever you have. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you. And, it takes me 2 minutes, right, to do the king drill. But then I ask myself, on a scale from 1 to 100, how do I feel now? And usually it goes up to like 85, 90, like in 2-3 minutes. It was not like that in the beginning. In the beginning, it was like between I went through maybe from 20 to 50. But right now I trained myself. So I go from 30 to 85, 90 pretty fast. And it's a small thing, and but it's a big thing, because it affects how I feel. And if I feel great, I come out, in the kitchen. My mom-in-law comes over, and I give a high five. Good morning, mom-in-law. My daughter comes over, say, oh, honey, let's run, let's play tag. My wife comes over, I give you a hug and a nice wet kiss. So we start off the right foot, and it helps a lot. That's the thing.
Yeah, so I'm really interested because I've never heard this called the king drill or the queen drill, but this is like mindfulness and deep breathing, right? That's what
Yes.
we call this
Yes.
in social work.
Yes.
I find it really fascinating that you can go from like a 30 to a 90. I am nowhere near as skilled as you are in that like mind shift. And I've got all of my own stuff, right, that lead to that. But how long did it take you to train yourself to be able to have that make such an impact for your mood?
I think it depends on the person, right? We all different. We all have different nervous systems. But I suggest, my clients, sometimes they're all different too. And some people go from 20 to 50, 60, right away, from 20 to 50. Even they're depressed right now, right? Or even from 10 to 40, 50, right away in 2-3 minutes, right? Sometimes it takes them one try, but if they don't feel it right away, it's normal. Because it's like a muscle, like exercise, right? So you build muscle, you need to exercise on a regular basis. Then you got the muscles. At first, if it doesn't help so much, I tell them, please do it 2 more times, right? 1 more time or 2 more times. Build it up, like stack it on top of each other. You tried it once, you do it another one, another time, and another time. And usually if you do it 3 times, king drill or queen drill, you're going to feel the difference right away. And that's the first thing. And second thing, it's like the shower, right? If we take shower almost every day, and that's why our bodies are clean. The skin is clean. So the same with the king drill. And if I do it every day on a regular basis, it helps a lot. If I don't do it, it doesn't help. No magic pill. No magic pill.
No, there is no magic pill, or else I would be super high on all of the magical happiness. This is a tangent, but I'm a runner. Yeah. And in the spring, I ran my first full marathon after having ran like 15 half marathons or something. And it was a complete shit show, basically. Like I was well prepared for the marathon, but I had so much anxiety going up into it that I made myself really sick. And so for the first 10 miles, I was really sick. But I started to smile when I was running, and I started to like say hello to people as I was passing them. And just that act of like smiling and greeting someone else, I really felt like it made a huge difference.
Wow. Small things are big things, right?
They absolutely are. I want to talk to you about the gratitude, because I've never seen deep breathing and gratitude used at the same time like that. And I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you, Sarah. Because it's 2 good things, pile them up on each other, right? So you're going to have double. Instead of 1 good stuff, you have 2 of the good stuff, So that's awesome. 2 good things.
Totally. We have to stack those skills. What advice do you have for people who have a really hard time finding something that they're grateful for?
Start with your body, right? Do you have your legs, right? You got your legs. Look at the people around you. Some people, they don't, right? So I go, or they cannot use them. So, for example, I go to Costco and I see one guy, he's in a wheelchair all the time, right? But he smiles. His name is Larry. We shake hands all the time. We get pat on the back, like, yeah, how's it going? And he's in good mood majority of the time. He's in good state. And I asked him once, Larry, it's not peaches and cream, right? And your life, and said, yeah, it's not, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it so much. I say, well, how come? That because I'm grateful. I'm grateful what I have. I cannot use my legs, but I can use my arms. I can see, I can hear, I can serve other people. See, I got a job, I got an apartment, I have a house. I have a car too. My mom and dad's alive. And so he basically stacks all what he has, right? All the good stuff, right? Like 10 or 12 different things, all the good stuff. And it overcomes one big negative, but the big one negative, negative things that he cannot use his legs. And he does it consistently, not like once in a while, but he does it consistently. When negative thought comes to his mind, he switches right away. So to stack positive, not just one thing, bam, 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 several things. I can hear, I can see, I can, I have my parents, I have my friends too, I have a job, apartment, boom, 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 and stack on top of each other. It helps too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I learned to stack my skills in a outpatient DBT program I took, and it was pretty incredible because I used to get so mad that deep breathing isn't working for me, and they'd be like, okay, well, that's awesome, but you can't just deep breathe into recovery. You have to do more than that. So then I started to add in, all of the other things. And once you figure out kind of the best regimen for you with all of those mindfulness, breathing, gratitude, whatever other skills you're using, I've found it's really beneficial.
And good idea too. So we spoke about King drill, but there are small things about the drill too. For example, details, right? For example, we need to make sure that the head is up, right? As high as you can. Shoulders are back, as pushing back as strong as you can. Spine is as straight as you can, right? So you push yourself a little bit. Force it. Breathing, same with breathing. You force it when it goes out. Same with the gratitude too, right? Gratitude, you say something, but you use intonation too. Intonation is a big thing when you speaking out loud. So I'm a big fan of speaking out loud because you can hear yourself too, right? You can hear yourself too. And intonation is a big thing. If you kind of say it in quiet voice, right? So I have my legs, right? Thank you, God. I have my arms. Thank you, God. I have my parents, my wife, my kid. Thank you, God. It's a good positive message, but it doesn't go deep, right? To make sure it goes deep, we need to use, more energy, intonation, right? Intonation. You force yourself. You don't feel like doing it, but you force yourself. Fake it till you make it. Right, so it helps too. If it doesn't help the first time, you do it one more time and another time, and it takes only 5-6 minutes, and it's gonna work. So intonation is a big thing. Intonation, energy, voice it up, even if you don't feel it. So that's details about the King drill that we need to take care of to make sure it works.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I bet your clients love that.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, it helps a lot. So one of my clients, she's a wonderful lady, Susan, and she quit drinking several months ago, and she was going through tough times. And she does Queen drill almost every day, and she texts me. What we do after she's done with the Queen drill in the morning, she texts me like the picture of the crown, like I'm a queen, and then 2 numbers. For example, 25, 70, right? So she woke up 25 and she did Queen drill for 2 times, and her energy and enthusiasm went from 25 to 70. So it's a good idea to hold people accountable too. When she knows, she told me, Serge, I know that you're waiting for my text, so I have to do it, even if I don't want to do it. So getting a coach or someone else, your buddy or family member, they're gonna hold you accountable. It's a big, huge plus. It's gonna keep you going.
Yeah, I love that. I found that for me, I have to continue to go to therapy, even if I am not actively working through a whole lot, just to be able to maintain my skills, because I'm accountable to tell somebody how it's going.
Yep.
And then I'm accountable to tell someone how it's going if I'm not using them.
100%. You're on track, right? You're on track, on the right track.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Are there any other things about your work or skills that you teach people that you'd like to share?
One more technique, right, that we use. For example, we got so enthusiastic, energetic in the morning, focused, and we get out of the house, get out in the real world, right? And something happens that we don't like. So someone is rude to us, or we failed at something, and it's so easy to get down. So easy to get down. So there is another technique, I call it catch and switch. 3 easy steps, right? 3 easy steps. First step, I catch myself feeling a little off. Is it down or angry? We can feel it like in the stomach, right inside of us. Something is not right, right? Second step, I do power breathing again. 3-4 seconds. Basically killing stress hormones and or lowering the level of stress hormones of adrenaline and cortisol. And step number 3, what I do, I ask myself 2 questions. What can I appreciate about the situation or about the person? What's good about it? And second thing, what can I do better? Like maybe a small step, what I can do better now or next time to improve the situation. So, for example, we used to have many arguments with my mom-in-law. She's a fine lady, nice lady, and she wanted to, especially during winter time, she wanted to overdress Sasha, in my opinion. Put like 2 pairs of pants, heavy socks, heavy coat, the scarf, like heavy hat. Say, Grandma. And I was really angry at that because I'm outdoorsy type, and I know when you dress yourself heavily, you don't want to move, right? And it's hard to move when you overdressed. And we argued a lot. So she goes, no, Sasha's gonna get cold. You need to take care of her. You're not taking care of her. You're not doing it right. So we argued a lot and constantly about that. And then, for example, one time I figured out about the technique, and I do it all the time right now. So first step, I got aware, right, that I'm feeling angry with grandma, with mom-in-law. Second step, I do breathing right away. Right away. And number 3, what I do, sometimes I do breathing, sometimes I don't. It depends how angry I get. Right now, I don't get that angry, so thank God. But back in the days, I had to do the breathing too. And number 3, I was asking myself, what's good about the situation? What's good about mom-in-law, right? And she cares, right? She cares what's good about. She cares about Sasha. She cares that she's healthy. That she's well. So that's a good thing. What can I do better now and next time, right? I let grandma know that, Grandma, it's a good idea that you take care of Sasha's and you want her to be warm and well. But what is the goal? What our goal? Do we want to protect her by overdressing her, or we want to empower her to make sure she gets warm by herself by running and doing activities? And that was if we had a conversation, and it hasn't solved the problem completely, but it helped a lot. And right now, Sasha does polar bear plunges with me. So like once a year we do polar bear plunge, and we prepare ourselves going outside, brushing ourselves with snow, wearing only swimming suits. And we did polar bear plunge 2 times, 2 years in a row. And this year she's asking me, Papa, when is the polar bear plunge? Are we going to register? I said, yeah, honey, let's do it. And it's a great cause. Actually, polar bear plunge, we raise some money for Special Olympic athletes. And I think it's a great cause. I have so much respect for Special Olympic athletes. I don't know. It takes so much courage, so much of everything to do what they do. Yep.
So that's really cool. It's funny. I was listening to like a local radio station here in Portland, and there's this radio host guy who does the same concept as the polar bear plunge in his. I think he must have like a houseboat or something in the river in his backyard every morning.
Yep.
Because there's something
That's
about
awesome.
cold water, and I'm not sure exactly all of the health benefits, but people say that it's actually really good for you to do that.
It's great for you. I take cold showers every morning. I take a regular shower, and a cold shower after that. Actually, they did a study. I don't remember where. They did a study in Russia, and I think in America too. They took a group of clinically depressed people, and they did cold showers. They started with chilly showers and then cold showers, and they did it for 3 months. And after 3 months, 74% of them, they quit medications. Can you imagine that? So, and they took their saliva, they took their blood, and they basically measured all the levels of stress hormones or the levels of dopamines and happiness hormones too. It was a big, huge change, especially when you get used to it. You know, your body gets used to it, and your mind gets used to it. It's a great thing, great tool. It helps me a lot in the morning too. Plus, it's great for your immune system. It boosts your immune system. It's great for your skin, great for your hair, and great for your cardiovascular system, and great for your lungs too. So it's so many positive things about that. So if it's another tool for the listeners, don't go crazy. Don't start doing right away. But little by little, after you take your regular shower, do a little bit of a chilly water, right? Not cold chilly, right? And do it for a week, and then you do a little colder and colder and colder, until you're comfortable with the cold water, and you're gonna reap so many benefits. So I promise you.
That is what I've heard. I haven't tried it, although maybe I need to try.
Yeah, and don't forget to scream. All right, don't forget to scream. It helps too. Like, yeah, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. Yes. So it helps a lot. So basically, you help your body. I'm screaming like crazy person. You help your body to perceive the stress, not negatively, but in positive way, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's a big thing when you turn your focus from negative into positive. Something is great happening, like when you take a cold shower or doing polar bear plunges. You see, I got all pumped up in a second because I imagine myself doing cold shower, and I do it on regular basis, so it was natural. It came naturally. Sorry if I scared anybody.
I think you're fine, but I just in this conversation, I realized you know so much about how to train your mind. It's just incredible.
Thank you, Sarah. It took me a while, right? It took me a while, and I'm still learning. But it's a great journey, and I'm on a mission to share it with other people too. I really love what I do.
So where can listeners find your contact information? Of course, I will get all of this and build it into the show notes. But do you have a website? Where can we find you?
Yeah, Sarah, your listeners could go to emotionalfitnesstoday.com. That's my website. I have all information and my contacts. So emotionalfitnesstoday.com.
Fabulous. Well, we will have everything built into the show notes for everyone. But this has been such a joy just to talk to you, and I can't wait for you to continue sharing everything that you're doing.
The pleasure is all mine, Sarah. We're having a good time. I love it. We need to do it more often.
Oh, absolutely. I want to have you come back on the podcast. How do you feel about doing some closing questions?
Go for it.
All right. What is one thing you have coming up that you are looking forward to?
One thing. I want to connect with more people, and I want to share the techniques, simple but effective techniques, with more people. And I want them to try it, right, and to get results, and to make sure they implement those techniques in their daily life routine. So it becomes normal, like brushing your teeth and taking a shower and dressing yourself, because it's a great thing to take care of your emotions in the morning, right? To put their joy and gratitude and encourage all the good emotions in your heart right away, and not waiting for someone else to do something nice to you to feel better, or waiting for something to happen to feel you better. So we in charge. We're captains of our hearts and captains of our souls, and And I really believe in it 100%. And there are simple, practical steps that we can take to do it too. I'll be happy to help.
I love that. Tell people one thing that you want them to know about mental health.
I think it's a vital part of our life, everyday life, because it affects everything that we do. It affects how we feel. It affects our communications with our loved ones, especially with our friends. It affects the job we do too. And the better we feel, more focused, more energized, more energetic, the easier it gets. It feels much better. And we give more love to people that we love. We share more, and we give more to our clients too. And we do a better job whatever we do. So it's a big thing. I think mental health is vitally important in our lives.
I love it. All right. One last question.
Yep.
It's always my favorite question to ask people, and that is, give us one reason to stay alive today.
Your loved ones, what can you say? Your loved ones, your people that you love, your wife or your husband, your kids, your friends, your mom and dad, your dog, right? Your dog, you cannot leave him behind. Someone said, I read somewhere, people who commit suicides, they try to escape pain, but they give 1,000 times more pain to people they love after they go. And I was like, wow. They don't think about it like in a moment, right? But it's how family feels. They feel so, I don't know, so deeply wounded and deeply hurt. And so we cannot do it to people we love. Gotta think about them and pull ourselves out. Look for help and talk to a friend, talk to someone else, talk to the coach, or talk to you, Sara. There are so many different outlets right now. So don't give up, guys. Don't give up. Step by step, there is a way.
Sergey, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom and your joy and your love. Thank you for sharing it with us today.
Sara, thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it so much, and I hope that one person it made a change in one person's life, even a little change. So it's that's the most important thing.
I'm sure that it has. If nobody else, it's changed me. So thank you.
Thank you, Sara.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I so enjoy sharing these stories with you and being a part of all of us talking about recovery. It's such a gift that people come and talk to me, whether in person or by Skype, and allow me to share with you their journey with mental health and the way that it's impacted them. The work that you're all doing with us is helping to reduce stigma and normalize mental health struggles, and that truly means the world to me. If you would like, you can follow our podcasting journey as well as some of the other things that we're up to on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook at A Brand for the Broken. Those links are all included in the show notes as well, so you can see that there. As always, I would love if you would rate, review, and subscribe to our show. Your continued support through telling your friends and family about the podcast is so important because it helps us share the stories and ultimately keep people living. It also helps us to find guests who might be interested in sharing their story. If that might be you, please reach out to us and I will get back to you as soon as I am able. You can send us a message through any of our social medias or at stayaliveinc.org. Okay, friends, thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to share our next episode.